With Election Day around the corner, we visit a polling site on campus. Find out more. All the details on how the San Antonio Zoo celebrates Halloween this year. The Cowboys suffer another key injury, and are we going to have basketball season at A&M San Antonio? Find out more in Jaguar Sports. Welcome back to a new edition of Enlace. Today we are in the CAB building where the Mexican American Student Association has placed this year's altar. Thank you for joining us. I am Brianna Olvera, giving you the latest campus and community news. The month of October was Domestic Violence Awareness Month. According to statistics, nearly 1 in 3 college women say they've been in an abusive dating relationship, and 38% of college students say they don't know how to get help for themselves if they experience dating abusive as a victim. Catherine Love, student counselor and healthy relationship liaison, says it is important to be aware of your resources.
With awareness, with that person being aware of the resources available to them. The National Domestic Violence Hotline, it's a great resource. I want to make sure that students are aware of that. They actually offer some specific tips and recommendations for how to safely reach out. First off, I want to normalize and really validate that it can be intimidating. It can feel scary. It can feel overwhelming to even think about how to reach out for help. These resources are actually set up to help.
The Student Counseling Center displayed a silent witness exhibit in the CAB building and first floor of the Science and Technology building to represent victims of violence with statistics and facts on assault. They also partnered with the National Resource Center on domestic violence and launched a Number One Thing campaign to recognize domestic violence awareness. The campaign challenges students, faculty, and staff to think about one thing to help end domestic violence and bring change. In an update to a story we covered last show, El Espejo, A&M San Antonio's magazine, won the Pacemaker Award in the Best Magazine category. The cover story on the history of pandemics won second place in COVID-19 coverage, visuals, and design. The Pacemaker is a national award and an annual competition from the Associated College Press. There were 28 finalists representing 16 states. There are a few days of early voting in Texas, and Election Day is right around the corner. Armando Villarreal gives us more information on the polling site located on campus.
The May Center at Texas A&M University-San Antonio will serve as a designating polling site on Election Day on November 3rd, and the university encourages everybody to express their right to vote. During this 2020 election, voters don't have to vote in their precinct, unlike previous years. Now, Bexar County voters can show up at any polling place and will receive the proper ballot based on their precinct where they live. Mari Fuentes Martin, Vice President for Student Success and Engagement at A&M San Antonio, says she's excited that the university is hosting a polling site because it's convenient for students and the campus community.
I think it helps us teach our students about their civic responsibility to vote and be change agents for society. I think it's also important because it's not just about the national election, but local elections, which can affect our community and our students.
According to the Bexar County Elections Department, over 594,000 voters casted their ballots in person during early voting this 2020 election.
We've had a lot of guidance from the county, so they've been able to give us a lot of resources in regards to how we need to set everything up. We're actually going to do a small walkthrough with some of the county officials, and I know that they're busy, so they're taking time out of their day to make sure that we have, again, set up a safe area that makes sense logistically for traffic flow and everything like that. So it has definitely been a challenge.
Amber Graham, Civic Engagement Coordinator at the May Center, says it's important to vote in order to make your voice heard.
This is what makes us American. This is what brings us together. It's something that we all have the right to do as Americans, and getting to voice your true opinion, nobody else has to know what that is. that's a great thing. Look at your voter guide, get educated, get informed, and then go and cast your vote.
The university will host an election night watch party from 7 to 10 p.m. on November 3rd at the ceremony room. The event will include hot chocolate, pan dulce, outdoor games, and activities. I'm Armando Villarreal, Enlace.
Student engagement has decreased on campus, and many student organizations are adapting to online activities. Armando Villarreal has more on the Greek life at A&M San Antonio since COVID-19.
Fraternities and sororities have adapted to a new kind of Greek life that is now virtual. Many colleges and universities are adjusting to the new changes caused by the pandemic. Zach Frankowiak, chairman of the social media committee from Delta Chi at A&M San Antonio, says Greek life activities have changed drastically, but it's important to keep the strength of Greek culture alive.
What we've strategically done is we've met for dinner, 3 or 4 of us, homemade dinners, socializing, just keeping the connection and the bond there. And that's what I've noticed has still been the same, is that the bond is still strong, the brotherhood still remains, and we adapt, we innovate, and we still find ways to keep it as similar as we can.
Kenny Nguyen, president of Delta Chi, says one of the things that helped the fraternity was to create challenges to stay engaged and connected.
One of the things that really helped us was that one of our brothers, David, he came up with a thing called the quarantine challenge, in which one of the challenge would be call or text your brother to check up on him and see how he's doing, or a silly argument as if a hot dog, is it a sandwich or not. So there are different things to keep the brothers engaged and also get to know each other throughout this whole COVID-19 pandemic.
Martin Calderon, Alumni Relations Officer of Delta Chi, says staying virtual is not easy, but it's important to follow the COVID-19 guidelines.
Greek life during the pandemic virtually is not as fun, but I feel it's more rewarding. Every single event that we go through with, every single member we've recruited virtually is kind of a huge victory. Every dollar we've raised for certain organizations is much more satisfying than being in person and doing it.
Students are encouraged to continue joining organizations on campus to keep social engagement and benefit from the college life experience as the university continues to adapt to the new Greek life. I'm Armando Villarreal, Enlace.
When we come back, find out how the San Antonio Zoo is celebrating Halloween. Welcome back. The San Antonio Zoo welcomes Halloween with the chance for families and children to celebrate with trick-or-treating, corn mazes, and a Halloween photo op. Our reporter, Katelyn Silva, brings us more.
The San Antonio Zoo kept the Halloween spirit alive through the month of October with their very own ZooBoo. The event gave children and their families a chance to trick-or-treat, participate in a costume contest, interact with the zoo's mascot cowboy, and go through Halloween corn mazes. Safety guidelines for COVID-19 were put in place by employees, and with the zoo being 56 acres, there was enough room for guests to socially distance during the ZooBoo event. Mask wearing was mandatory inside, while outside it was strongly encouraged.
Masks are strongly encouraged outdoors, but indoors they are required. So if you go into our aquarium, if you go to any of our enclosed spaces, restrooms, and also our restaurants, it is required to wear a mask at the zoo. But if you're outside walking around, it is strongly encouraged.
ZooBoo was held weekly and also gave families the opportunity to experience the event from their car. Drive-through ZooBoo was held on Fridays, and candy was given out to children safely prepackaged. With the concern that the pandemic has brought to children and families about Halloween being canceled this year, the San Antonio Zoo still wanted to give children a chance to experience Halloween.
It's been very devastating for a lot of children and just for people in general about what we're not able to do. And one of the big worries and concerns this year during the Halloween season is we can't go trick-or-treating. So the zoo really wanted to be able to offer this in a safe and fun way.
The zoo is a nonprofit organization and relies 100% on ticket sales from events like ZooBoo and donations. They are starting a Road to Recovery campaign where zoo supporters can purchase a paver with their name engraved. This will contribute to a design of a jaguar and will be placed in the zoo's Amazonia entrance. You can learn more about this campaign on their website at sazoo.org. Reporting for Enlace, Katelyn, Silva.
Now we go to Amanda, who is joined by local musician Nina Diaz to share how she will honor Dia de los Muertos this year.
Thank you, Brianna. That is right. We have our San Antonio's very own Nina Diaz, a local musician, with us today. Welcome, Nina. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, we are so excited for you to tell us everything that's going on. We know that you're going to give us the musical insight for Muerto Fest that's happening virtually this weekend. And we're so excited to hear about everything that you have to offer. Tell us, how did you get involved with this? How did this collaboration happen and how did you get involved?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So Muertos Fest, I actually played Muertos Fest about, I think it was like 4 years ago. I played it, and the people that organize it, I'm really close to them. Faith and Jimmy Mendiola, I've worked with them pretty much like half of my musical career, so they're really great friends. And I had a lot of fun when I played it. And of course, I miss playing live for the people. We did it at the Riverwalk, the Arneson Theater is the where I played. So of course, everything's virtual these days. And I happened to come back into town because I was living in LA last year, and I came back right when COVID hit. And so like things were kind of dry for a moment, but like in October, a lot of online stuff picked up for me, which is awesome. And Faith reached out to me and she said, hey, we're going to do a Selena tribute because it's her 25th anniversary of her passing. And we were wondering if maybe you and Chris Perez wanted to collaborate to do Fotos y Recuerdos, because that would be the perfect song, you know, of course, for Day of the Dead celebration. And Chris and I were actually supposed to do that song for a Selena tribute during South by Southwest. But of course, South by Southwest got canceled. So I was like, that's not too far of a stretch. So let me ask him. And he was totally down. He's been busy right now with his hot sauce, which is awesome.
Saw that, it's taken off.
Right? Isn't that cool? It's like, of course you should do that, man. That's awesome. So I hit him up and I was like, hey, do you want to do this? And he's always been so chill, and anytime to shine some love and support to Selena, of course he's always there and down to do that. And it was great to work with him again, because the last time we were able to do a Selena tribute was at Lincoln Center in New York about 3 years ago, where we did Como la Flor and God's Child, but he played on Como la Flor. Yeah, so it was an easy idea to come together, and Faith reached out to me, who's one of the organizers for Dia de los Muertos Fest. So all the pieces just fit.
And how does it feel being a local musician, born and raised in San Antonio, being able to honor Selena with that 25th anniversary and be able to have that collaboration with Chris and Mariachis Campanas de America? How does that feel?
I'm so grateful. You know, every time there's been an opportunity for me to be a part of any kind of Selena tribute, I definitely do not take it for granted. Because I also know when there's other tributes that go on, I'm like, I wish I could have been a part of that. I know there's other artists out there that see me and they might think, I wish I could have been a part of that. And I just want them to know I do not take this for granted. To be able to sing her songs and to be able to play with Chris and just to continue to shine that love and light on her is amazing. And it helps me stay on top of my Spanish game, because I'm still learning. I'm not fluent in Spanish yet, but I am starting virtual lessons on Monday, because Spanish is a part of my culture and Selena is a part of our culture, a part of me growing up. So anytime I have a chance, it's always a great feeling.
And what better way for us to honor Selena with Dia de los Muertos, right? This virtual festival that's going to be happening. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Nina. We look forward to the event. We can catch it on the CW, 7 o'clock on Saturday. For those of you who want to check it out virtually, where can we follow you, Nina, so we can keep updated with your music and all of the other great collaborations that you have coming out in the future?
Yeah, Nina Diaz Solo is my handle on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And my website is ninadiazsolo.com. I'm still in the process of building it because I am in transition right now. I'm in the process of releasing my next solo album. It'll be my sophomore album. And I just released a batch of covers on Bandcamp. So I do have some things brewing. So you should definitely keep up with me because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. So Nina Diaz Solo for everything.
Well, thank you so much, Nina. We cannot wait to see what you have in store for us next. And thank you so much for giving us your time. We appreciate it. And good luck on Saturday. We know that you're going to do great and have a great time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
After the break, high school football, the NFL, and more in Jaguar Sports.
Buenas y bienvenidos a Jaguar Sports. Los saluda Alejandro Diaz, listo como siempre para traerles la mejor acción del mundo deportivo. Pitazo inicial y entramos de lleno a la acción de la NFL, donde los Cowboys de Dallas no levantan cabeza. Esta vez cayeron en su visita al equipo de Washington por 25-3. Otra derrota vergonzosa para los Cowboys, que esta vez perdieron a su mariscal titular, Andy Dalton, quien sufrió una contusión cerebral luego de un fuerte golpe en el tercer cuarto que no le permitió seguir en el juego. Por esa jugada fue expulsado el linebacker del equipo de Washington, John Bostic. Así pues, los Cowboys tuvieron que recurrir a su tercer mariscal, el novato Ben DiNucci, quien hizo su debut en la NFL, pero sin tener mucho éxito. El próximo juego de los Cowboys será el domingo en la noche cuando enfrente a las Águilas de Filadelfia en un duelo fundamental para el liderato de la División del Este de la NFC. En el béisbol de las Grandes Ligas, 32 años tuvieron que pasar para que los Dodgers de Los Ángeles volvieran a ganar un campeonato de la Serie Mundial. El equipo angelino se coronó campeón luego de derrotar a los Rays de Tampa Bay por 3-1 en el sexto juego de la serie. Como medida de precaución con el coronavirus, las ligas mayores decidieron que todos los juegos de la Serie Mundial se jugaran en el estadio de los Rangers de Texas en Arlington. La celebración del título tuvo algo de controversia ya que Justin Turner, estrella de los Dodgers, decidió celebrar con sus compañeros en el campo de juego a pesar de que le habían avisado durante el juego que había dado positivo para el coronavirus. Turner había salido en el juego en el octavo inning y estaba en aislamiento, pero no se aguantó las ganas de celebrar con sus compañeros. La MLB anunció una investigación al respecto. El equipo de fútbol americano de Harlingen High School empezó su temporada con pie derecho luego de vencer al equipo de Kyle Lehman del área de Austin. Robby Chavez nos trae más de este encuentro.
I'm out here at Harlandale Memorial Stadium where the Harlandale Indians are playing against Kyle Lehman from the Austin area. And get this is Harlandale's first game of the season, and we're almost in November. Due to COVID-19, they had to shelve a bunch of games, but we're happy we got them on the field. Let's go to the highlights. And Harlandale would find themselves warming up in one of the first major cold fronts of the season. However, early on, Kyle Lehman looking ready to go, the throw right down the middle, and Kyle Lehman scores first and celebrates. However, they wouldn't be celebrating long as number 84 Saxon Langenberg from Harlandale takes this punt return all the way for the touchdown to get Harlandale scoring on the season started. And just a few moments later, it's going to be Zion Molina, number 21 on a reverse for Harlandale, and he's going to take this one all the way to the house, down the right sideline, and that would be enough to get the Harlandale band involved in the game as they were on the track due to COVID-19 not being able to be in the stands. However, they would get the war chant going, and that would light the fire under Harlandale the rest of the night. Later in the game, number 49 linebacker Xavier Garcia is going to take a turnover to the house, and Harlandale is going to win this game 32-7 with the score here from @warpath1.com. Robby Chavez, Enlace.
Y el coronavirus sigue impactando el deporte. Esta vez el turno es para el equipo masculino de baloncesto de A&M San Antonio. y es que informaron a través de sus redes sociales que su temporada ha sido cancelada debido al incremento que se ha venido dando en los casos del COVID-19 en la ciudad. El equipo tenía planeado llevar a cabo unas pruebas para escoger nuevos jugadores, pero se vieron forzados a cancelar todas las actividades. Bueno, y no siendo más por hoy me despido, pero nos vemos el próximo programa con más de Jaguar Sports. Y cuando regresemos, toda la información de la coronación del nuevo Mr. and Mrs. A&M San Antonio, y Amanda nos trae un nuevo capítulo de Located Loco.
Thank you for staying with us. On October 16th, the university held the crowning for Mr. and Miss A&M San Antonio in the auditorium. Mr. and Miss A&M San Antonio will be a representative of the university, upholding the highest standards through their one-year reign. In previous years, the event occurred during Fall Fest, but this year, Campus Activities Board held a ceremony just for the royalties and will continue to do so, as it becomes a tradition for homecoming. Joining on stage was a standing cardboard cutout in place to crown the new Mr. A&M's SA, David Galvan. Galvan replaced Zachary Frankowiak, who exchanged his crown with the graduation cap, ending his reign as Mr. A&M SA 2019 to 2020. Karina Salmon took the crown again for a new reign as Miss A&M San Antonio 2020 to 2021. The Mexican American Student Association has a tradition on campus to decorate an altar in honor of Dia de los Muertos. Although we cannot meet on campus this year, they will be having a virtual live stream on Facebook and Instagram of the event. The celebration will include a mariachi performance, traditional blessings, and more. Members of MASA were asked to submit photos and blessings of loved ones to add to the altar. This year's altar will be dedicated to those who have lost their life to COVID-19, as well as endangered indigenous women.
Trying to celebrate Dia de los Muertos during a pandemic is very difficult. It's not the same as having MASA members come participate and create it together. Thankfully, we have our officers that were able to come and put time aside, yet it still misses that family touch.
Rodriguez says that even though things are a little different this year, they are very thankful to provide a way to celebrate this tradition. The virtual event will take place on Monday, November 2nd at 7 p.m. Visit JagSync for the link to this event and more information. In this week's edition of Ask a Jaguar, the esports members tells us their favorite horror games as they prepare for their 24-hour live stream on Halloween.
Hi, my name is Joey and I'm the events coordinator here at Tamusa Esports. I would say my favorite horror game has to be Resident Evil 3. I'm interested in it as well because I'm going for the speedrun world record, which is about 46 minutes to complete the entire game on assisted mode. I'm down to about an hour, so I'm fairly close, and it's just an overall fun game.
So I'm not much of a horror game fan. However, I am on the Overwatch team, so I'm looking forward to the Overwatch Halloween event. That'll be really fun to play, and we're going to be doing it on stream, so that'll be fun to watch.
My favorite horror game is a little old school. I don't even think it's available anymore on console or on PC. But it's from the PS2 days, which I think is the peak survival horror era. And it's actually a Japanese video game called Fatal Frame, more specifically Fatal Frame 2. It just has a lot of folklore and a lot of, for the time, the graphics and the plot of the game was really revolutionary. I would actually put it up against Resident Evil and Silent Hill, which are two of the biggest survival horror games as of today. I hope that in the future that maybe it'll come back. I have been seeing things about Fatal Frame kind of coming to PC, so hoping for the best for that.
I like Dead by Daylight because every game's a little bit different. You're a different character, you're a different killer, and just everything changes up from the speed to the time you can play a game for 45 minutes to 10 minutes and going against different colors. Can't beat it.
One of my favorite survival horror games has to be State of Decay. It's a third-person zombie survival that has realism elements. You're dropped into a city and have to set up camp to create a community in the world of the undead. One of the reasons I love this game is because all the moments can be so tense, with zombie hordes coming right by you as you're looting a building or being chased by a swarm, and if you die, there's permadeath, so it just makes everything a lot more intense.
Before we leave, Amanda brings us a new episode of Located Local.
What's going on, locators? This week we are in the Deco District at Pan de Diaz Jimenez. We will be featuring pan dulces such as pumpkin conchas and pan de muerto. Let's take a look.
Panaderia Jimenez is located at 1846 Fredericksburg Road. Bakery owner Frank Jimenez shared how the bakery came about and has been in the familia for over 50 years.
We want to continue our dad's legacy, and so this is a family tradition. It's been passed on from my dad to my brothers. I have several brothers who are bakers, and then of course my master baker, who is my partner as well.
Jimenez explained how they created the connection between pan and festive celebrations such as Diaz de los Muertos.
Yeah, so there's definitely several traditions. Again, one is the pan de muerto that you see. That's one celebrating the Day of the Dead, and continue to educate people and the reasons why we celebrate the Day of the Dead. And one is, the craft of the pan de muerto. Two, of course, San Antonio is the city of festivity.
You will also see local artists showcasing their work.
We want to do something different and unique. So one was, since the Deco District, they're known for art. And not only the Deco District, the city, we're growing with a lot of artists. And so we were like, why not utilize these artists, these local artists, and to exhibit their art.
Even with COVID-19 uncertainties, they're still going strong.
And figure it out as time went by, and I'll tell you, this community here, like I say, the community here, but the city too, has really just stepped up. And they come in, and they drive through, and they tell us, we want to make sure that you do not go out of business. We're going to continue to support you.
Don't be self-conscious. Give it a try. For Enlace, Amanda Barela.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Enlace. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. And if you're celebrating Halloween this weekend, remember to stay safe. See you next show.